I record everything but the screen. So today my goal is to achieve it. So please, if I fuck up in any way, let me know. So sharing my screen. Welcome everyone. And today's session will be about products and customer flow. Nothing that you don't already know. Is going to be pretty efficient. And we're going to have the space divided into this two blocks. So we will see first our products, then our customer flow, and I will put both of the um, outputs in the outputs that you will have. So yes, but let's start. Before I start, can someone unmute and confirm that I'm sharing my screen and this is the screen that I'm showing to people?
Yes,
Yeah, it's
we
good.
do.
Okay, thank you. So, our outgoing products. First, of course, we're gonna start with the product minimum. So all the things that you will see is the necessary information that you need to have for each three of the products. And basically, as LCPs, you don't need to know every single detail about the product. That will be mainly, that aspect of the things will be mainly supported by the MCVP operations because it's literally what we do. But besides that, what you need to understand is what is each product and how do you think which product will be fitting more into your market. So we will be focusing on that. First of all, this is not updated. So know that I will, like when I'm sharing my output, I will fix this. But of course, this is Global Volunteer is our biggest source of revenue. And if your LC is low or middle performer, this is the product you need absolutely to have because it is the easier revenue source that you will have as LCPs. So even though, for example, when we have conversations about, oh, I want to focus on GE, focusing on a product doesn't mean stopping the other entirely. This is kind of the base product of each one of our LCs in the moment. So yes, of course, duration 6 to 12 weeks, benefits, accommodation, and food provided. Not always, obviously. Sometimes in Global Volunteer, you can have the accommodation provided, but not covered, for example, which is, can someone tell me the difference between them, if you know? Okay, so no problem. So for example, accommodation provided means that the host LC has an accommodation where they usually host people, but it is not covered. So what it means that when I go to a GV, let's say that Romania shows me the address and they say, we host our EPs in this address. Cool. How much I need to pay? This much. So I need to pay actually. So this is the difference between accommodation provided and accommodation covered. If it's provided and covered is the best thing they can ask for, it means that your EPs will not have to pay TNC for accommodation. Let's go. Right now, our charity partners are Brazil, Indonesia, Morocco, Greece, Italy, and Croatia. These partners were selected based on last year's and last 5 years data, based on how many people have actually applied to these countries and how the VPs are willing to work with the countries themselves also. And for some LCs, for example, this can vary because, for example, I know that for some LCs, since you need to have a mandatory internship, you are looking for more professionalized GV. So you can also search for that. So for example, projects on marketing that are more professionally appealing to the eye and finding a project host based on the professional side also can bring you a partner. But this was the general partners that we had this year. And of course, Global Volunteer, what is the main domains? They are sustainable development goals, zero poverty, no hunger, climate action, life under sea, gender equality, quality education. So each Global Volunteer experience that we are having currently are contributing to those goals, as you know already. And therefore, it's like how we sell it also in the market, usually it's a plus because we can say that it is kind of UN approved, and you are contributing at the end the United Nations goals, and which is something that is always a plus when you try to sell this product in the market. What are the three how do you say perspectives you can focus on when you're selling this product? Is first cross-cultural environment, of course, because usually this is the opportunities where you get to work with most of the people, because when you open a GE or GT profile, you don't necessarily look for 100 people or 50 people, you look for one or two. But when it comes to Global Volunteer, you get to be part of a team of, for example, 20, 50, sometimes 100 in bigger entities. And this is something that is really insightful and that is really helpful when it comes to understanding other cultures, because any big company, any like company that is right now huge, they are all of them international. So they are all looking for people who are learning and who are able to communicate in this international environment. And so this is a really big selling point when it comes to Global Volunteer. Of course, volunteer experience. I mean, at the end, of course, contributing to UN and the title and so on. But at the end, you are actually doing something really valuable and that has a real impact that is measurable by the studies, how do you say, by the classes that you give, by the people that you impact, and by even the people that you have a conversation with. Is a really impactful project. And in this sense, when it comes to people that are looking for having this kind of experience of giving back, is really important, because usually our market is composed by people that are kind of average, above average students when you also take into consideration business school. So it's a point of also, okay, you're privileged, but this is a way that you can give back. And like right now, there's a standard if you have the means, and our markets currently have the means. And yeah, so this is another point. And of course, third point that we really focus on in every product of the AIESEC, because our current education system is not currently keeping up on the human development and technological development. So our students are depressed, our students are stressed, and they're confused on whether they're going to be like their contribution in their professional life, in their personal life. And therefore, a Global Volunteer experience can bring a lot of things through practical experience, because if people practice, they understand more things about the profession they're in and more things about themselves, their abilities, their capabilities. So really focusing on these 3 points in terms of value proposition will be crucial for you and will be important for you, because you will have people and you will advise your GV to tailor these 3 characteristics based on whatever it is the needs of your market. So yeah, any questions about Global Volunteer?
It's okay.
Okay.
No, all good
Cool.
for me.
Cool. Perfect. So I'm passing. Okay. The second one. So global entrepreneur. Why, even though you are not selling this product, for example, maybe in your LC, you need to be super aware of it for giving information, for example, to your customer, because not necessarily your LC might not be big for switching to a second product, but this is a product that is mostly between the two. So it's not GV at all. It's not GT at all also. So it's a product that is kind of in between, and that can be interesting for mandatory internship students that are not accepting GV, because right now is a thing in some of the schools, they start not accepting sorry, Global Volunteer as a valid internship. So Global Entrepreneur is a more middle product that you can actually take advantage of when it comes to those kind of situations. Again, the accommodation and food provided or covered. Again, super be careful with this and always check the opportunity, because you cannot generalize on things. Even when you're selling to the customer, you cannot say, yes, every product that we sell, we only pay whatever and everything is clear, like covered. No, you need to set the right expectations and saying that, hey, so you pay, for example, not this, so 350 for Global Entrepreneur to Isaac and Friends for service fee, but in some of the projects, there might be an additional cost for accommodation and food and maybe transportation as well. So, but this is based on you as well and based on which countries you want to partner up with. Currently, we are working, I would say Brazil, Indonesia, Croatia, and mainly Romania when it comes to Global Entrepreneur, because they have special opens in for French speakers and for EU citizens. So Global Entrepreneur is usually a product where we focus more in Europe, and their main domains is business development, sales, marketing, and this year is also IT is available in this product. Why you need to understand this exists is to match it basically with your market, because it would be stupid to go in a, let's say, teaching school to try to sell marketing GE. So in terms of understanding your LC sub-products and matching them with Global Entrepreneur, that will be crucial. And yeah, the value proposition of the product, of course, global opportunity. Basically, this is a first kind of step into an environment where it can be professional and also multicultural at the same time. If you never had an internship before, if you want to explore another field of your own by developing some of the characteristics that you have already, it might be a really interesting thing. Of course, there's a huge tendency of entrepreneurship in the competitive market. So, and the students are super aware of it. So like when you approach youth right now and ask them, hey, what do you want to do? Like there might be a tendency of saying, yes, I want to build my own thing, So of course, how they can do it by first seeing what is an entrepreneurship and what is an entrepreneurial means, is by actually going, testing, and working on it. So you can also have that selling point of, yeah, like go check it out, and maybe if you like it, maybe someday you will build on something that you saw there. And of course, expanding your network, because yes, if you want to stay in the country, it's a possibility, but if there's another option of actually going outside of the country and having a network of international people, which we are lucky to have, for example, there's of course different ways of doing it. We are in Isaac currently, but in Global Entrepreneur, what is different is that you are actually building a network inside the profession itself. So when you go to an IT startup, you can meet a lot of people that are working on the things that you want to develop. So you can get a lot of hard skills and you can use it in your own business and in your projects. So those are the 3 points of Global Entrepreneur currently. Is it all clear, or do you have any questions regarding this?
No,
Guys, do you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, still clear.
Cool. Perfect. And last but not least, our beautiful global talent. So the duration of this is 3 to 18 months, so it's much more longer than any of the other products. So therefore, it has a really, really precise market. You cannot go and try to sell a global talent opportunity to an L2 or to a person that just started their licence, because they have a whole school to finish. And usually, like this starts usually in 6 months. the global talent. So like, even though there are few exceptions that are existing in 3 months, so therefore I put 3. Usually in most of the cases, global talent is for people who are either taking a CESU, either recent graduates, either people who are taking a year between licence and master, or finishing their master. So it has really specific markets that you will be focusing on if you already developed a really good sense of GB, and if you have already good revenue of GB in your LC. And of course, benefits, they usually don't cover accommodation. They sometimes cover food because of the company, like, lunch and stuff, but it's not really, marketed that way. The best thing is salary. So you receive a salary, which I also suggest, if you're selling GT in your LC, check the salary before promoting it, in terms of, is it really enough for someone to sustain themselves? Because sometimes they can be really, really low, and they can be not very reflecting the reality of how life is working in that country. So be really aware of what is the life cost in the country that you're promoting GT. So yes, right now our main partners are Canada, Netherlands, plus Romania recently. And the main domains is marketing, IT, teaching. Also, I will add business administration. And yes, so if you have people in your LC that that you're targeting master degrees, or L3 that are recently graduating, that will not have a master immediately, this can be your market. It's usually really hip, I would say, like, I don't know, popular when finishing a business school, when finishing an école de commerce, something like this. Usually this is the profile of people that apply for GT. And our price is Teta, not this, for 100 euros, as you know. And yeah, of course, again, global opportunity. Let's say that you didn't have a chance to get GE while you were studying, and now you're graduating. Maybe why not GT is another way of going out of the country and experience more cultures and learning how to work in those intercultural environments. So yes, diverse industries. This is mostly like how we say real entry to professional life. So there's a chance that also the places that you will be going will be really diverse. So you will be working in several domains of your choice, and you will be able to maybe stay or jump to another opportunity after your project of global talent with ISH. And of course, work experience, because even though we do alternance, even though we do stage, we don't actually maintain a level of focus in only and only work for this long amount of time. That will probably reflect the more reality of life. Like, if you're gonna be in a traditional working environment, you're gonna be like working this many like long hours and long times, and not studying, not doing anything, like working, of course, like hobbies and stuff, but the main focus on revenue will be working. So in terms of, for example, if you studied marketing, but you're not sure you're gonna make a living out of it, or you're not sure if you like it or not, this is a really good experience, because it gives you a average amount of time to test the area, and an opportunity afterwards to change the area if you are not liking it. It's really flexible, so that's very cool for the like exploring more and more ideas and more areas. So yeah, that's our global talent. Any questions regarding this?
No.
Okay, so basically this was from NEC. Also, you can reach it. If you don't have any questions, I'm going to be moving on to customer flow. I know that you guys already know. This is actually the output of Leak because it's exactly the same. So I'm just going to move it and be efficient with it. If you have any questions, you can stop me. I will also stop and ask again if you have any questions. Let's go. So again, the funnel, the famous funnel. Sales funnel, it's nothing really specific for ISEC. You have for Amazon. For the people who know me, I'm a huge fan of Amazon. I fucking love Amazon. Like each time I'm going on the website, I am finding something new for me. And to be honest, for example, I didn't used to love Amazon that much because, I mean, I didn't care. I used to go do physical shopping like not a millennial and like an old person. Which I still do, it's okay. But then Buba, my predecessor, he was a huge fan of Amazon and he wasn't like able to stop talking about it. Literally, he had Amazon Premium and he was like, oh, he's like, my next thing is here. I'm so happy, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, I'm going to give it a shot. So this is what happens mouth to mouth marketing. I was attracted literally. And I went on the platform and I checked things and I'm like, wow, that's so cool. And like the thing that I say, it will arrive to my address the next day I say. Oh, that's super cool. So I ordered a bunch of things and that was the part of consideration and purchase. Basically, every single business have a flow and that they base their strategies on. And if we don't have performance, if we are having problems in our funnel, it's a question about detecting what is the part of the funnel that we are having problems, and the approach should be how can we solve it. Same thing for Netflix. Also, like big fan of Netflix, obviously. It's really customized. It's amazing. You go in, you put a few options. They give you a free month of seduction, and I was seducted. Then, of course, after 1 month, since you see how much Netflix knows you, how much it suggests you things, you're like, Netflix knows me better than my mom, so I'm staying. So I passed the free trial sign up, and you become a subscription rollover. Like it's been literally, I subscribed to Netflix for a month, and I told myself I have the willpower, and I'm in Netflix since 2 years. So lol, this is business logic works. So we have the same thing in ISEC, obviously, because we are also running. We are a youth movement, youth leadership movement, but we are also kind of running a business and we sell products basically. So we have the sales funnel. This was the old version that maybe you're familiar of. Well, not anymore, because what was happening is that we had people being attracted, being converted, having the experience. And then this part was really that, because since it's a really line, people come and people go. So besides that, instead of that, we adopted this new customer flow, where actually, of course, you have the attraction first, then the consideration, the old that we know, then the preparation, then experience, then post experience. So what is the difference between this and that? Is basically they separated value delivery in 2 stages: preparation and experience. And then they changed the name of brand advocacy. Why was the reason of the separation? Is for having more clarity. Because, for example, like in the old logic, they were considering that the OPS and the expectation setting, the goal setting was also part of the value delivery. But in most of the entities, value delivery was understood in the sense of my EP went to the opportunity. In that moment, value delivery starts. So for changing that logic and giving more clarity of what is the before stage of the experience, we come with preparation. And of course, the post experience will be a sense of, okay, your experience is over. now what? Because it's actually the idea of Netflix, for example, right? So if I'm watching a movie and I like it, it's not the only movie that I'm going to watch. Maybe I'm going to watch another one. Maybe I'm going to watch another one. And to keep a happy customer in the flow is easier than attracting a new one and convincing that you are worthy. Because this one has already experienced how good Isaac was and maybe wants to experience it again. So we will focus more also on this one this year. Any questions before we move on?
I don't have a question, but I'm just gonna say Netflix is always the best example.
Welcome, Edja. Thank you. Let me drink a water. Okay. So moving on. Of course. So basically, if you are OGX, you will be more involved in the side of the youth, and if you're an ICX, you will be more involved of the side of the partner. But the thing that you need to have in consideration is the fact that starting from the applicant, these two sections are intersected. So it means that if an EP applies here, they also apply here. So in that moment, until the end of the experience, partner and youth part needs to work together. So that will be the importance of IR if we're going to have another call on that. Like I know that on Wednesday we have a call on standards, so we can talk more on how actually we will focus on standards and how we're going to work with our partners. If you're OGX and if you're ICX, doesn't matter how to work with that. So yeah, that's the idea. And now by product. So we saw the products already, GV, GT, GE are beautiful products, and we're just going to see super briefly what is the differences based on products. So this is a new thing. Just going to give you a moment to look here, here. Okay. So basically what you're seeing is the statuses that you probably know, because I don't know who's in the call, but right now if we are only operations, you know the statuses. And basically for the ones who don't know, is the statuses that we see on Expa. So based on attraction, consideration, preparation, experience, this is everything that the customer goes through. And this visitor open is how we name them in the sense of the back office of ISX. Like when I say back office, I am meaning, for example, like isaac.org is the front office and Expa is the back office, because we see how things are functioning on back of the customer flow. So if I am managing to having an open, I completed the attraction phase. And if I'm managing to convert that open into an approved, I'm amazing and I completed the consideration phase. And for example, right now, between each those statuses, we have also conversion rates. And I don't know, for example, can someone tell me what is the conversion that we are struggling the most right now in Isaac in France?
Accepted to approved, right?
Okay, why?
Because of the French laws, actually, because they have 14 days. They have right to pay during the 14 days, and sometimes they just don't pay. They disappear. Mm-hmm. Like there are legal problems and EP problems.
Okay. Yes. So, for example, this is something that why it is important, because it's something that we can actually change, and it's something that we can improve. In preparation, so this is the moment actually we are kind of moving as Isaac in France, because our peak of approval is March, April, May. So when we are finishing May, we will be after mid-May, we will be full modern preparation. So we will do OPS, outgoing preparation seminars that we're going to see tomorrow, on Wednesday. And then expectation setting, personal goal setting, All these things is part of the preparation before the EP is getting realized. What does realized mean? Is the moment that EP starts the internship, not the moment that EP gets to play, not the moment of the pickup, no, the moment of the start of the experience. This is important because it's contracted that way in the side of the ICX. So know it. And of course, experiences between the first day of the job and the last day of the job, which is finished, and post experience will be the goal of post experience will be, of course, completed, but then to reopen. So to re-put the EP into the flow so that we can do the whole thing again. For youth, it's so cool because we have all the products the same. All the products that we saw recently, they have exactly the same customer flow. One thing that I want to also talk with you in the size of youth, because I'm not going to very detail on the ICX side, is the fact that Isaac International will next year start, track the SOPs, which is the standard operative procedures. Nothing complicated. It's just, for example, what are you doing between open to apply? Let's say that I'm calling my EP in 24 hours, I'm sending them opportunities in 48 hours, blah, blah. Like every little step that we do, that is actually, that you can find it in the master tool as well. Here, like for example, call in 24 hours, send SMS if missing, blah, blah, blah. Every single thing. I'm sorry. So Isaac International will start much of the tracking and ranking the entities based on, because having this is one thing, guys, like call in for 24 hours, but really calling in 24 hours is another thing, because this is only a writing on a Google Sheet. If I don't actually do it, it doesn't make any difference if I have it or not. So they will start tracking this. Therefore, with the MCLX, there will be also a tracking system of the LCs, because of course we cannot invent and say, yes, all no, not true, of course, not true. Like some LCs do it better, some LCs are learning how to do it better. So we need to also track that, and like there will be a lot of tracking in terms of LCPs from your side to make sure that your LCVPs are reporting on this, which will be, for example, on monthly basis.
We don't hear you right now, Yaprak. Hello?
Okay. Okay. Cool. So in terms of partner, basically this is the thing that you're seeing is exactly the same kind of for the use part. So of course, sign up visitor, then you turn that sign up opportunity for review to an open on the partner's opportunity portal. Then you need to, for example, if you have opens, well, you need to approve them, and like approve to realize, realize finished, finished to completed, completed to open. So this is exactly the same thing in the partner side in Global Volunteer and Entrepreneur, right? What is different in ICX is just a part of Global Talent, which is some of the LCs are working with this. So I just want to explain it. And maybe Mariana will explain it also, but why not? So what is the difference between these two?
Yeah, Brooke, we don't have your screen.
Thank you for saying. Since when?
Like 10 seconds. 20 seconds, okay? 25. Yeah, all good. Thank you.
So ICXI, I was saying that for global volunteer and entrepreneur is absolutely the same and is really similar to the youth. So visitor to sign up becomes opportunity for review, and you need to finally on the partners opportunity portal and finally approve it. After that, approve to realize to finish to complete it, completed to open. It's exactly the same. That's why we were saying that they were intersected, remember? So it's really like a mirror effect always. The thing that is getting different is global talent. So if your LCs are having global talent, you need to know about this in IGT, okay? Not OGT. So again, like I'm not sure if Mariana is handling this part, probably yes, but since we are having the repetition don't hurt anyone, this will be the difference of the fact that
And you're gone again.
but I don't know why it is cut. Sorry. I am actually sharing, no?
Yeah, you're sharing. No, he means about your voice. Like we
Ah,
couldn't hear you.
okay.
That's good.
Okay. Sorry. The internet in the office is really, really bad. So, but thank you. Each time you lost me, just tell me so that I can repeat. So I was saying that the only part that is different, instead of having opportunity review and opportunity created under consideration, under consideration, we have it in attraction. So that is the difference. When you see it here, opportunity for review is under consideration, and here is under attraction. Why this? Because this part of opportunity review and creation has much more importance and has much more details than a GE and GV than in GT. So like I misphrased that, sorry. It has more importance in GT, so it is still part of the attraction. Yes, because it will have more and more details, and only when you have the open, you will actually be able to move to the consideration phase. And the rest is absolutely the same. So open to approval, approve to realize finished, finished completed, completed open. The other way to see it, the statuses, if you want to see it in a linear way, is this. So basically, again, visitor open applicant accepted. Probably before your planning, guys, you will really sit down and see what has been the customer flow implementation in your LC. So what was the strategies that we were having in attraction? How we were trying to have opens? Was it successful or not? How can you improve it? Then how much time, for example, you were taking between the amount of time between the applicant and approved? Is it really too long that it is becoming financially unsustainable for you? Then what can you do to reduce that period of time? Do you give a really strict deadline? Because even though it's on the contract, it can be, for example, a requirement for the opportunity. Even if it's on the contract, you can say, hey, if you want this position, 2 days payment. Sorry, that's the only thing I can do. And this is something that I did in my VP, and it was like working slightly better. What I suggest is, of course, the EPs, guys, they are babies, okay? They will be babies, they will be really difficult, but that's the part of customer centricity. You need to build your system so well prepared to bullshit that you will be able to actually work through all the excuses, everything. And you can, I think you should, for example, sit down with your entire VP and define what is going to be your procedure between all of the steps. For example, applicants are accepted. We have so many applicants that are not accepted because they are not contacted, you know? So this is the type of things that you can avoid by just having a really strict tracking in your LC of, okay, if there's an applicant, we contact the OP manager in 1 day, because 1 day is not like that short. It's really okay. And same for example, now approval to realized is going to be a crucial period, because it's the time that we can actually get to set expectations with the EPs and say, hey, you're not going to a 5-star hotel, you're going to volunteering.
You're gone again. We can't hear you.
Okay. Where was I lost? In consideration?
Yeah.
People?
Hello. Yeah, consideration, yeah.
Okay. So the part of preparation I was saying right now is going to be crucial, because we will get to set expectations with the VPs, with the EPs, in terms of you're not going to be staying in 5-star hotels, and also setting goals with them for developing their skills, their leadership qualities, because that is literally the entire thing that Isaac does, and we need to make sure that those EPs understand that. And they don't come back and say, well, it was just agency where I went to have a volunteering with. No. And basically, realization's finished. This is the part of host, and post experience is the part of where we did the RIS for our returnees and maybe recruit them, because if you have people in your LC that have already experienced the product, is a huge plus, is a huge plus, because either it means that they love the experience and they want to be in the organization, or they hated the experience and they just want to improve it. So it's a win-win. You will not have people that are hating Isaac inside the organization. So you need to also take really advantage of that. Then for the partners, literally the same thing. So I'm going to pass. I'm going to the part of, again, B2C. So for the people that joined late, I was telling that you will be starting from next year being ranked by this, being ranked by how well actually do you implement these SOPs and the stages in your LCs. But like, we will make sure that we will co-create with the MCLX the way of doing this in a way of that is not going to be a super extra thing that you will do, but in a way that is already embedded in your work, so that you can actually even measure your success. Because in terms of MOS, so measure of success, the measure of success of the field of usually customer experience or OGX is what is approvals, right? So no matter how good, no matter how bad, is approval, is a number. So it's an idea to challenge that. Of course, you will have a goal of approvals and realizations, but this will be showing us how customer-centric you are. Because you can have approvals just because you are lucky to have one really good university in your LC or in your market. That's literally nothing that you worked on. I'm sorry, but sometimes like a really good market is just ready for you. But the difference will be made on how well actually you process that people. Did that people really get every B2C? and the B2C tracking and SOP tracking. Um, is everything clear? Did you hear everything I say? Yes?
Yeah, because your Wi-Fi
Okay.
is really sucks right now. Just repeat your last sentence
But you
because
heard?
just really we can't hear anything.
Yeah,
Okay.
just the B2C part. Okay, we can't hear you right now.
Um, did you hear that the difference will be made by how good? So wait. Let's go. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Yes.
I didn't hear. I mean, I think your voice is gone now. Like, I am the only one?
No, you're not the only one. Like, I can't hear her. Yeah, probably.
Hello. Hello. Do you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, we can.
Yeah,
I
like this.
can.
Oof, okay. Cool. So my last sentence. I was saying that if you have a really good market and in your LC, and if you have a lot of approvals, it's sometimes a luck, like literally a luck, and it's something that came ready for you. Like in the case of this big business schools, it's really. Oh my God. Okay. Um, you hear me, right?
Yes.
Thank God. So I'm saying what makes the difference will be actually treat those people, because it's of course a part of numbers, blah, 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 but it is also the part of customer centric you are. This SOP and customer implementation will make all the, if you send, let's say 50 approvals, if you do 50 approvals, but only 10 of them are badly processed, sorry, are goodly, like an amazingly processed with the proper customer flow, the process, is better to do 20 approvals with amazing fucking customer service. But this needs to be our priority, and therefore this will be priority of next year. And probably in your LC planning, you will also put yourself percentage of implementation in your entity. What does that mean? For example, let's say that there will be a checklist that you can actually guide yourself with. And if you have 2 EPs overall, like as an example, if you have 2 EPs, but one of them was called 20 hours when open, and one of them was called in 1 week. So it means that only one of them will receive a check of called in 24 hours. And based on that, you will have, for example, 50% of SOP implementation. Of course, there's going to be much more EPs, and of course, there's going to be a much more longer checklist, but that will be the idea. And this is how you will be ranked, and how you will see if you're actually delivering what you're promising as ISEC. So yeah, that was my final word. Do you have any questions?
No, thank you. Thank you for your all effort.
Yeah,
Actually.
it's fine.
Thank you guys for being
Yeah, thank you very
here.
much.
And with that, we close the space then. I will have a space with you on Wednesday, same hour at 9 on XPPs, Exchange Policies Procedures, Exchange Program Procedures, yes, and about standards. So XPPs are like updated literally 1 week ago. So make sure you are on the call and you push your LCP fellows to be on the call, because we are going to the peak and we need to know what is our rights and what is our EP's rights, so that we don't have EP cases. That's our main motivation in life. So yes, that's the idea. Cool?
Cool.
Cool.
Okay. Have a really nice evening, and I see you on Wednesday.
You
Yeah,
too.
see you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Yeah, see
guys.
ya.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.